Hello there, 6++ people. It's Ed here with another detachment review. We have seen two awesome detachments have come out for the Space Marines. We've had Raven Guard and we have the Empress and the Imperial Fists. So the Imperial Fists have come out. I'm super excited about these. As you guys know, I love my Siege Anvil Task Force. Obviously, this is going to be a little bit different in the fact that it's not a Siege Anvil Task Force detachment. It's very different in terms of the strategy. It's written more like a First Company Task Force, detachment, as a lot of the rules sort of translate over quite similarly. But we're going to get into it. So, yeah, let's get on to the. First of all, we're going to cover Darnath Lysander. So, obviously, this guy's had a new. Well, I say a new data sheet. Not sure how much it has actually changed. I think the -1 to wound is the main thing here that has been changed. But let's cover it. So he's moves 5. He's a Terminator. He is toughness 5, 2+ save, 7 wounds. So decent amount of wounds. Leadership 6, OC 1, and 4 Bimba. Pretty standard stuff there. The extra wound is nice, which is really cool. Obviously, he's a big stodgy boy, so we want him to last him a little bit longer. So we have the Fist of Dawn. This is his mellow profile. So Fist of Dawn is obviously fantastic. So he's got 5 attacks, hitting on 2, strength 10, AP 3, and 3 damage. That's just a good solid profile. So he has his flat damage 3, which some things the Terminators don't really have very much now. So it's pretty cool. And then we have his actual abilities. So we have each time a target this model's unit, each time an attack targets this model's unit, if the strength is higher than greater than or equal to the toughness characteristic of the unit, subtract 1 from the reroll. So if you've got a lot of strength 5, it actually interacts with that as well, which is actually very cool. And then once per battle, at the start of any phase, this model can use this ability. If it does, at the end of the phase, it has a 2+ invulnerable save. Now, these abilities are obviously great. This one is going to be once per battle, start of any phase. So if someone just comes in and tries to position you out or something like that, you can just basically use this as a reactionary thing. This obviously means that he can be towards the end of if he's in a big unit of Terminators or something like that, towards the end of their lives, he can just be a bit more annoying, get another activation out of him. Awesome stuff. And yeah, this is basically Lysander. These are the 2 rules that he's got, and this is the combat profile he's got. Not much more to cover on Lysander, unfortunately. His model's obviously very cool. He can go into he's an all thing. He can go into Terminators. Another thing to cover is if you're in Terminators, if you have Terminators or Terminator Squad, Assault Squad or Terminators in the army that you would take with Darnath Lysander, they have OC2 while they're not battle shocked. It's just something to remember, because obviously that means that also there's going to be the stuff in here with ancients and stuff in there as well. So if you've got like a Terminator ancient in a unit of 10 Terminators, then obviously that will mean that they're OC3, which is actually not bad, right? So let's go on to the next bit. So this is going to be the detachment itself. So this is Emperor's Shield, as discussed. So this is going to be this new detachment is obviously something that I'm quite excited for. I do like my Imperial Fists. Now, yeah, this is basically very similar to the First Company Task Force, so known as the Emperor's Shield. So yeah, so let's go to the detachment rule. There's a lovely little blurb here about how it's Darnath Lysander, which is pretty cool. So Wrath of Dawn. Each time a model from your unit, each model from your army with the Oath of Moment ability makes an attack that targets the Oath of Moment target, you can reroll the wound roll of a 1. This sounds okay, right? But it's actually exceptionally good, I think. Not exceptionally good, but like very good. It's quite frankly, it's a detachment rule a lot of detachments would love, right? It's a general rule. But it's the fact that on top of this, they're not taken from any. These guys aren't taken out from any codexes, just from this Codex Space Marine. So they still maintain the +1 to wound from Oath as well. So +1 to wound and reroll wounds of a 1 from Oath obviously means that these guys can have little shooty pieces or like ballistas and stuff that are going to be insanely reliable, which is obviously very, very cool. We like reliability on our shooting. That makes it better. So that's the first thing. And then the second thing is, each time a model in Darnath Lysander's unit from your army makes an attack that targets the Oath of Moment target, you can reroll the wound roll. This is obviously great. Now, Darnath Lysander is going to be sitting in a big brick of 10 Terminators, because it's going to be great. And, having the 4 rolls to wound, I mean, I'd obviously want Assault Terminators with Lysander, my gut says, but the 4 rolls to wound for the Oath target and the strats, which we're going to get onto a bit later on, would make me think that the Stormbolt, the unit 10 shooty Terminators are actually quite viable here, which is obviously very cool as well. So I think this detachment rule obviously gives you a lot of cool stuff, and obviously your army can include the Imperial Fist units, but cannot include Ellipsis starters units drawn from any other chapter. So it's the usual stuff. So you can take Imperial Fist units like Tor Garadon. Tor Garadon is fantastic and is actually weirdly damage 4 against knights now. So if you want to have an answer to Imperial Knights with the coming meta, Tor Garadon and 6 dudes of Gravis variety, up to you. Not bad. And then we have, so we're going on to the enhancements. So we've got Champion of the Feast. So it has a starters model only. Add one to the attack's characteristic of various melee weapons, and once per battle at the start of any phase, the bearer can use this enhancement. If it does, until the end of the phase, add one to the attack's characteristic of melee weapons equipped by models in the bearer's unit as well. So this is very, as again, it reads very similarly to the first company task force. This is pretty much a direct copy and paste from one of those. So this is obviously great. Obviously points dependent. I'm not sure if the points have been released for this yet, but the Champion of the Feast, obviously it's just a solid enhancement, right? Like having +1 attack consistently and +1 attack on your unit. It's just good, right? You can even use this to a point where you just make a smaller unit hit a lot harder, or you can use it on a brick to make it hit that extra hard. So next, we're going on to the Disciple of Rhetoricus. So this is a Detachment starters Terminator model only. Improve the objective control characteristic of the bearer by 1 once per battle at the start of any phase. The bearer can use this ability. If it does, until the end of the phase, you can add one to the objective control characteristic of the other models in the bearer's unit as well. Now this is interesting. You can technically put this on an Ancient, and in some Terminators, and I think it's OC4 because the Ancient itself gives +1 OC. And then the Detachment starters term, and then obviously the enhancement itself will give you +1 OC once a battle. So that's not bad. This is pretty cool. But yeah, I think this can be seen. You obviously use this to make your Terminators just a bit less because obviously one of the big problems with the Terminators is OC. But obviously, as you can see throughout this detachment, you can see lots of ways to solve this issue with either Ancients or Enhancements. It's obviously very, very cool. So yeah, I think you can see this being used, in the this detachment is very much designed around the Terminators. So if you want to be using your 30 Leviathan Terminators, this is obviously a great detachment to try out for it. Then we have Indomitable Champion. So this starters Terminator model only, and the first time the bearer is destroyed, roll 1d6 at the start of at the end of any phase. On a 2+, set the bearer back up on the battlefield as close to possible to where it was destroyed and not within the engagement range of any enemy units with 3 wounds remaining. That's obviously fantastic. It's a cool one. It creates this little piece that can die and then come back. It's great. You can use this to sort of have a little anti-trade. I used to use it for my Gravis Captain in the Anvil Siege Task Force. It's obviously great. So you can see this being used as well. And then you've got the Maladraxian Standard. So this is in the starters Ancient. This one's my favorite, by the way. I like this one quite a bit. So this is starters Ancient model only. Each time an attack targets the bearer's units, if the strength and characteristic of that attack is greater than the toughness and toughest characteristic of the bearer's unit, subtract 1 from the wound roll. This is very good. This is greater attack is greater than the toughest characteristic, not equal to, so it's not quite as good as Darnath's, but -1 to wound is awesome. There's the very real world here that you're going to be putting 20 Terminators in front of your opponent, which all have -1 to wound, and certain armies just aren't going to want to deal with that, especially with the 2-up save and all the stuff alongside of it as well. So Maladraxian Standard, really like that enhancement. To be honest, so far so good, I think. In terms of if we're looking at an Imperial Fist detachment, Wrath of Dawn is obviously a cool detachment rule. The enhancements obviously looking very similar to the first company task force bits, but they are still very cool as well. Let's get into the stratagem. So we've got Armor Contempt first. We love it. The worst is the characteristic of an attack that targets an Acceptance of Starters unit by 1 in your opponent's shooting or fight phase. Obviously, only one activation and that sort of thing, because you can't use that for the phase now. That has been out for a while, just thought I'd let you guys know. And we've got Fury of the First. So your shooting phase or the fight phase, one of the starters Terminator, Blade Guard Veteran Squad, Stern Guard Veteran Squad, or Vanguard Veteran Squad from your army that's to shoot or fight this phase. Turn of the phase, each model time you modelize attack, add on to the hit. If your unit is below starting strength, add on to the wound roll as well. This is obviously very cool. If you have those big bricks of Terminators, you can get +1 to hit and +1 to wound for a CP if you lose one of them, which is obviously very good. So definitely something to consider. And then we have, and obviously you can also use this on like Stern Guard squads and Blade Guard squads as well. There's lots of there's going to be interactions with this that you're not going to think of immediately, but there's just going to be suddenly like, I have like 3 Blade Guard left. We have unit 6. I really want to go and kill this thing. Excellent, and that sort of thing. Then we have Obdurate Vengeance. I'm going to hope I haven't butchered that pronunciation. So we have a fight phase. So this is a fight phase just after an enemy unit has selected its targets. One episode starts Terminator, Blade Guard Squad, Stern Guard Veteran Squad, or Vanguard Veteran Squad, all very similar things in terms of the unit selections. From your army that was selected as a target of one or more of the attacks. It's basically this is until the end of the phase. Each time a model in your unit is destroyed, if the model has not fought this phase, roll a d6 with a 3+. Do not remove it from play, and the destroyed model can fight after the attacking unit is finished making its attacks. Awesome. It is in fact a fight on death on a 3-up. We love that. Fight on deaths are obviously great. On a 3-up, it's even more reliable. Your opponent will have to plan around this as well, which is obviously something they're going to have to bear in mind. So this strat's great. The fight on death strats are fantastic. The fact that it's 1 CP for the 3-up is very, very good. So we definitely want to. We definitely will be using that on our big bricks of Terminators. Then we have Wrathful Conquerors. Your movement phase, one episode start is Terminator, Blade Guard Veteran Squad, Stern Guard Veteran Squad, or Vanguard Veteran Squad. From your army that has been objected, which is within range of an objective marker you control. The objective marker remains under your control, even if you have no models within range of it. So until your opponent controls at the start or end of any phase. So this is obviously a sticky strat. We love a sticky strat. It's great. Means that you might not have to invest into intercessors. I still love them, but it might mean that you don't have to invest into them, and you can sort of lean towards the Terminator skew instead, which is interesting, which I quite like. Then we have Disciplined Extermination, the shooting phase. One of the starts Terminator, Blade Guard Squad, etc., the usuals. That has not been selected to shoot this phase. Until the end of the phase, the weapons equipped by models in the unit have the ignores cover and improve the arm penetration of the characteristic of the attack by 1. This is pretty good, I think. Like on the big stodgy bricks of Terminators, like all the Stormbolt shots. With ignores cover and extra AP is really nice, especially in Darnath Lysander's unit with the rerolls to wound as well. Like, you can definitely do some work with this, and especially with +1 to wound and a reroll and a +1 to wound as well. Like, suddenly you've got Stormbolters, which are hurting knights, which is really interesting. And yeah, I think your activation on this is going to be mainly on Terminators, because obviously you could use it on Stern Guard as well, I suppose. So Stern Guard with +1 AP and ignore cover is actually kind of good, especially if they're only like a little 100-point unit. They suddenly punch well above their weight. But yeah, I think this is a good one. Definitely something to consider. Okay, so we have Dropship Extraction. So end of your opponent's fight phase, one of the start is Terminator unit from your army that you can't target whilst in engagement range of one or more enemy units. Remove your unit from the battlefield and place it into strategic reserves. It's Uppy Downy. We love Uppy Downy. So this obviously means you can do this turn 1 if you wanted to pick up a unit of Terminators and deep strike it turn 1, because obviously they have deep strike themselves. And that obviously would lead to your opponent needing to screen in some pretty interesting ways. And yeah, other uses of that. I mean, I can't. It's basically trying to get angles with Terminators, or just trying to put them into annoying places, or like pick them up and then rapid ingress them and all that sort of thing. And that's the sort of thing you'd be looking at to do. So I really like this detachment, guys. To be fair, I mean, I think it's got a lot of potential. You're going to see a lot of. Again, the selling point for this is going to be Terminators. So you're going to have OC3 and 4 Terminators walking around. You're going to have Darnath Lysander re-rolling to wound. You're going to have a lot of I think this is going to be mainly what you're going to be looking at with this detachment. So I think that this is one to consider for our Imperial Fist mains. Is it going to be the most competitive? Probably not. You still don't have access to advance and charge. You still move 5 with Terminators. You're going to have mobility issues. Alongside of that, but obviously I think this gives a lot of love to the Imperial Fists, which haven't really had much for a while. Obviously people have been trying to use Siege Anvil and First Company to try and make them work in like a more lore accurate sort of thing. So obviously having a detachment specifically for the Imperial Fist is obviously very cool, and we like that a lot. I think it's something that Games Workshop has done really well there. And also there are still some good stuff. There is some good stuff in there, Like, I mean, is it going to win tournaments? Probably not. But if you've got someone who's dedicated to their Imperial Fists and they really want to be using this detachment, they can do some work with it, right? So I think they've done a really good job on this attachment. I think out of the two, out of the Raven Guard and this one, I think the Raven Guard does look a little bit more in the competitive era, because obviously a lot more mobile, a lot more precision in terms of where they can strike, and obviously a lot more CP manipulation as well, which is going to be in the video that I've made for the Raven Guard one as well. So yeah, guys, it's been a pleasure. It always is. Please go and hit that like, comment, and subscribe if you like more content like this. We love to see it. And don't forget, we do coaching as well. So we've got a bunch of coaches that you can come in contact and all that sort of thing. And yeah, it's been a pleasure. I'll see you guys at the next one. Bye bye.